I'm going to take it as a given that most people recognize car dependency as being, at the very least, environmentally harmful, and there's certainly many arguments to be made by much more competent people about its moral shortcomings. In my own discussions with friends and family, most will accept that the car-centric model does more harm than good, but don't know how to break free from it. The entire system has been built up to support it, and so for many, it's not feasible to run counter to that. In this video, I'm not going to try to persuade anyone to jump onto the car-hating gravy train as much as I'd like to. I'm instead going to envision a world where we've agreed that this is an issue that needs fixing, what that would look like, and how we'd realistically achieve it. A major talking point in these sorts of discussions is the cost of cars and car-centric infrastructure. The idea of cost is far-reaching, encompassing things that many may not consider. Roads and highways and bridges, these are all easy things. They're upfront capital expenditure, ongoing maintenance, and eventual replacement. There's the cars themselves and their money-draining accessories, gas, insurance, repairs. But there's even more obscure things that we as a society all bear the responsibility of paying for. Hospital fees from traffic accidents and impaired driving, fines and jail time for those found guilty, the opportunity cost of using wide swaths of prime real estate for tinmobiles, and most pertinently, in the very layout of our communities, where car use encourages large detached suburbs whose environmental and economic consequences are wide-ranging. As a baseline, I'm sure everyone can agree that servicing such low-density, spread-out homes with high-quality 21st century amenities becomes expensive very quickly. So here's my radical idea. We offset some of this cost to the very companies who cause it, car manufacturers. I understand that it's a common trope that a leftist such as myself will make someone else pay for it, but in this case, I think it's very much necessary. My proposal is that we as a society put a number to the actual fiscal burden of car dependency, and then, over time, ask these car manufacturers to pay their fair share, say 50% of that cost, with the final number representing how much their costs exceeds our needs for, say, goods transportation and rural area servicing. So here's how that would work. Once an appropriate number has been set, we would begin levying these costs on an increasing basis over a period of 20 to 40 years, depending on how ambitious we are. If every year this amounted to a $1,000 to $2,000 increase to the cost of a new car, by the end of that period, especially with inflation, you'd be closing in on the $100,000 car. This would have the effect of slowly pricing people out of car ownership, while still allowing those who currently need a car to obtain one, or those who currently own a car to live through its entire life cycle. This is important because under this model, registering a used car would likely incur a similar, potentially lesser fee, though that's neither here nor there. This thought experiment, with its longer time frame, would give people in towns and businesses time to adjust the way we use their public spaces. And this coincides with the second, arguably more important part of this argument, an historic, truly gargantuan public transit spending blitz. After all, it would be seriously unfair to dismantle our entire transportation sector without viable alternatives put in place. Fortunately for us, there exists modern 21st century, accessible, comfortable, reliable, efficient, and cost-effective public transit solutions that we in North America are, unfortunately, not particularly exposed to. But they are out there, and we need a lot more of it, regardless of this plan. This obviously wouldn't be cheap, and given our government's procurement speeds, I'm sure the time frame would be less like 20 years and more like 80, by which point we'd all probably be underwater anyways. But you want to know what else isn't cheap? The status quo, car dependency. Sure, it would be a large upfront investment that we'd have to go into debt for, but as our servicing costs go down, as the manufacturers goes up, we could put that money towards paying off that debt. And in doing so, we'd be creating a much more resilient, cost-effective system, one where cities would be designed more naturally with fresher air, where people would have more money in their pocket because it's not all going to their gas-guzzling overlords. And it would be just, because no longer would it be only those who can afford it who are afforded the privilege of being able to move around their community. And for that reason, I wholeheartedly believe it's the right thing to do, even though I'm sure the idea would never win in a general election. But hey, that's just a theory. A car theory. Thank you for listening to me rant about cars again. I'll try to space out these videos a little more. I don't want to alienate my fledgling audience. But this thought popped into my mind and I just couldn't get it out of my headspace. So I really wanted to talk about it. Agree, disagree, I'd love to hear about it in the comments and share either way, because that would be good for me, or a lot of fun. Either way, like the video, and until next time, bye!